how and why human beings behave in the way they do. This is also very important for counseling purpose also. When you deal with clients, you come across many issues. This theory, this approach will provide some light or guidance to the counselors when they deal with the clients. So the first theory that we are discussing now is Sigmund Freud, psychoanalytic theory or psychoanalysis. Freud is a popular person. In fact, it is the first theory of personality. This Freud is an Austrian neurologist. Basically, or by profession, he was a doctor and neurologist. As a neurologist, he dealt with a number of patients who have mental health issues. The patients who have mental illnesses. In association with the other doctor, that is other person is there. They made different case studies while giving the treatment or while treating the patients. He developed case studies. Actually, this theory is based on the case study of patients who are suffering from mental disorders. He mostly dealt with people with abnormalities. And he has not dealt with the people with or normal people. That is one criticism that he's having. He dealt with abnormal people. That is, people with mental disorders. So he treated various cases. He used various techniques to treat the patients. One first technique that he employed for the treatment is hypnosis. Hypnosis was the first technique that was used to treat the mental patients, people with the mental issues. Then he used another technique. He employed various techniques, therapeutic techniques, for the treatment of patients. One technique, as I told you, that is a hypnosis. He used that technique. And another technique he used is concentration technique. Under this, what he did, he placed his hand on the head of a patient and asked the patient to recall their memories. That is second technique that he has employed. And another technique he has used as a part of his treatment is catharsis. C-A-T-H-A or S-A-S, catharsis. This is also important technique. Now it is relevant. What is this catharsis? The technique that was employed by the Freud to treat the patient is allowing the patient to talk freely. Whatever comes to his mind, free talk, without any restrictions. Whatever comes to his mind or her mind, he encourages the patient to talk openly, freely, whatever that comes to her mind or his mind, without any restrictions. He found when the patient is allowed to talk freely, much stress is relieved. Some relief was found among the patient. When the patients shared their problems with others by way of talking, there was some relief among the patients. That is a catharsis. That is one technique. And another technique, I am telling you, various techniques are employed as part of treatment. Then free association. Free association is another one where the patient or the person, as I said earlier, he speaks freely, whatever comes to her mind or his mind. Freely talks, he allows the person to talk freely, as I said earlier. That is, he called, he named it as free association technique. Another technique he has used is interpretation of dreams. Interpretation of dreams. He has written a wonderful book on the interview, that is title itself, The Interpretation of Dreams. Very popular book, where he discussed how to analyze the dreams. Why the person has chosen dream as a technique to treat the patient. This dream analysis, yes, dream analysis, DREAM, dream analysis, or dreams analysis. The basic point here is the unresolved conflict, unconscious motives, unconscious problems, unconscious conflicts, or the feelings which were repressed, the thoughts which were repression or suppressed. So the thoughts which are in unconscious level, at unconscious level, the thoughts which are repressed, feelings which are repressed, desires which are repressed, motives which are repressed, all these found expression through the dreams. That is the assumption of dream analysis. Unresolved motives, unresolved conflicts, they find expression through the medium of dreams. That is why dream analysis is employed, has been employed as a technique for the treatment of patients. And another thing, the source for this is self-analysis. He has used self-analysis. He analyzes his own dreams. He analyzes his own dreams. The content of the dreams. By that way, it is called self-analysis of his own dreams. He got much information about these disorders. These are the techniques I use. These techniques. Why I'm talking about these techniques before? These techniques paved the way for the development of this psychoanalytic theory or the development of psychoanalysis. So the self-analysis Freud himself had certain anxieties. He had a irrational fear. He himself had a irrational fear of train travel. That is the basis for self-analysis. Why he is afraid of the train travel? That is anxiety has. So now we will discuss. Now we have used few techniques that was employed by the Sigmund Freud as part of treatment for treating the patients with mental disorders. Now we will discuss the concepts, different concepts of psychoanalytic theory. Or theory of psychological theory of personality. The concepts that he has used, that he has explained in his theory, or various theories were covered. I just explain a few concepts.
Hello.
One is death instinct and life instinct. Actually, this theory is otherwise called instinctive theory. Instinct, INSTNICT. This theory is otherwise called instinctual theory. It is based on physiological drives, biological drives.
Pardon, sir?
Concepts. Hello?
So can you please repeat? Instinctive theory is based on?
Based on biological drives.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Instinct of two, that is, as I told you, life instinct
नहीं है
and instinct. Life is positive, death is negative. And death instinct include aggression, self-harm, such other things. And life instincts include doing good things or survival, procreation, and other important concepts of the Freud. Now we'll discuss the structure of personality. What is the structure of personality according to Sigmund Freud? The structure of personality, as explained by Sigmund Freud, is they have three components. Three components. One is id, ego, superego. These are the three elements. Three parts of this consists the structure of personality according to Freud. Now we'll discuss each element. What is this id? What is this ego? What is this superego? Id is purely unconscious, purely irrational, and biological interests. It requires immediate satisfaction of their needs, physical needs. It decomposes, as I said earlier, it is irrational, unconscious, and it operates on the principle of pleasure, pleasure principles. Please remember the important characteristic of the id is this id operates on the principle of pleasure, seeking pleasure. People are interested in seeking pleasure. They want pleasure. The mode need operates on that principle. That is pleasure principle. They want pleasure. That pleasure can be anything. Pleasure can be physical, anything. Maybe sex, maybe eating, or sensual desires, anything. And the desire, another characteristic of this, it is, it wants immediate gratification. Immediate gratification. Thus, desire has to be fulfilled now itself, not later. That type of desire is there. That means immediate gratification of need or desires, mostly physical in nature. It is also animal in nature. The people at this stage, though they are human beings, they behave like animals. That is what Freud said. The people at this stage, they behave like animals. Animals, they don't delay the gratification. They don't postpone the gratification or satisfaction of needs. Whatever they want, they do it immediately, irrespective of the time, irrespective of the place, anything. That is why it is equivalent to animal. That is why he said, Freud said, man is a rational animal. But animal tendencies are there in the person. But the only thing is rational. And children, the child, they will be at this stage. Because they are not developed. Cognitive development, emotional cognitive development is not there. They are at the lower age. Mostly the children will be at this stage.
Yes, less than 1 year kids do behave
Yes.
like this.
They also want immediate gratification of the needs, whatever it is, whether it's food or anything, irrespective of the place, irrespective of the time. And another stage or another component is ego. This ego is rational and it is realistic in nature. And this operates on the principle of reality. Reality is there. It is not completely animalistic or irrational. It is realistic. So here the patient, the realistic the reason is they think and analyze the consequences. If the desire is immediately satisfied, what is going to happen? So here, the postponement of desire will occur. They compromise. It will not fully sacrifice or fully satisfy the needs of ego. It will not satisfy the desires fully. There is an element of compromise, element of reality and compromise. For example, there is a diabetic patient. He is supposed not to eat any fruits, sweets. When the delicious sweets are offered to him, now the principle of it operates. Pleasure principle. If we eat that free that sweet, ignoring the consequences, is operated on the principle of pleasure. That is, pleasure principle is there. But naturally, instead of eating the sweet completely, what that person will do, he will eat only half of it. It is a compromise. It is not completely avoiding. He compromises it. Instead of eating the fully, he will may eat 1/4 or half of it because of the fear of the consequences. He avoids the full sweet. That means he is operating on the reality principle and makes some compromises. And another element is superego. Superego is a highly moralistic. Values, social values, morals. Even if there is, it is there, if there is irrational desire is there, undesirable desire is there. This moral ego, now that comes into operation. You see, this desire is not acceptable socially. Morally, it is not acceptable. We are not supposed to eat. Don't do it. That type of thinking will occur or will come in this stage of superego, at the level of superego. The problem here is all human beings go through these stages. They're not the stages, these elements, id, superego, and ego. There may be differences. Degree of difference may be there. Some of the people may be highly moralistic. They sacrifice anything. They are dictated by the morals. Only few people. Most of the people, they will be go at the ego stage, ego level, reality principle. Now, two extreme, they are not two. Ego is one extreme, lower extreme. Super ego is the higher extreme. And ego is the middle part. Most of the people, they operate on this ego principle. Ego stage, reality principle. And here we have to understand the important point here. How it is related to the mental disorders. How psychological problems come. Here there is a conflict now. The conflict between id and ego. Conflict between id and superego. There is sexual desire. But ego prevents and superego prevents. But the desire is there. Most of the Freud is mostly the sexual desire. And here you have to understand, sex is not in normal meaning. It includes sensual desire. The desire we get through ear, eyes, and etc. Sensual pleasure. Not necessarily sex that all people think of it. Once that concept was there, then it was revised. That sexual pleasure includes pleasure from different sources. It's called sensual pleasure. So when there is a desire, superego, the abstracts or prevents. Now there is a friction or conflict between ego and superego, or between ego and id and ego. There is a friction. There is a conflict. For some people, this level of conflict may be low. For some people, that level of conflict is very high, intense. Intense conflict would be there. Desire is very strong, but superego prevents it. When there is a friction or conflict between these two elements, that will result in certain disorders, certain psychological problems. That is the assumption of the Freud. And another thing that you have to understand as part of this psychoanalytic theory of Freud, Sigmund Freud, is the topology of mind. The topology of mind. The mind or conscious levels of conscious. There are three levels as described by the Freud. Conscious, preconscious, unconscious. There are three levels. Conscious, unconscious, in between there is a preconscious. Conscious level, you know the meaning of it. Awareness level is low, high. What the man is using, he knows. The reasons were and the the preconscious is another stage. With a little bit effort, you will get back what he has forgotten. It is the information is there. With a little effort, you can recall in the information or the experiences. And unconscious level, this person is not able to recall the earlier experiences. And the unconscious or under this socially undesirable desires or bad experiences that a child had earlier. Bad experiences a child had and expression of undesirable needs, motives are suppressed. They are stored in unconscious. In other words, unconsciousness is a storehouse. It is a storehouse of suppressed, repressed desires. And it is very difficult to bring out the content of unconsciousness. It is not so easy because they are suppressed. With little effort, it will not be possible for anybody to get back the content or the information that was or experiences that were suppressed. The experiences that are stored in unconscious level. It will not be easy to bring out the unconscious content. Now what to do? What Freud said, human behavior is motivated by unconscious motives. That is what he said. Unconscious motives, unconscious desires, they determine human behavior. So when the unconscious is playing a major role in the development of personality, how to understand and the motives that was repressed, the motives that are stored in unconscious level. So for that, Freud suggested various techniques. That is, one is dream analysis, we discussed earlier, and free association is another technique that can be used to draw out, to bring out, or to understand the suppressed the feelings. And slip of the tongue is another one. Slip of the tongue. So when we talk,
Sorry, sir. Sleep of the?
not sleep, slip, S P, slip of the tongue.
Okay, okay.
Slip of the tongue. So when we talk with other persons, sometimes we unconsciously, without knowing, we use certain words. Then the person realizes it is not correct. So that slips of the tongue can be taken as a technique to understand human behavior or unconscious the conflicts that person is having, or unconscious desires or unconscious motives that person is having. That means unconscious desire or motive is expressed or find expression through the medium of slip of the tongue. While talking, we do sometimes we do it. So here the other thing we have to understand, as far as this unconscious component of the three levels, conscious, pre-conscious, unconscious, which part is higher in human beings? There is another concept that we will discuss another concept so that the unconscious meaning will be clear. There is an iceberg concept. Iceberg concept. This iceberg concept, what is this iceberg concept? This is associated with this conscious and unconscious elements. You see this, the iceberg, only tip of the iceberg or the tip of the ice is visible, and much of the ice is not visible. That means only a small part of the ice, only a small part of the ice is visible to other persons. And much part of the ice is beneath the water. It is beneath the water. Only a small part is visible. It doesn't mean only that part only that is ice. No, there is large amount of ice is there. Large amount of ice is there, but it is not visible. Only a small part of ice is visible. Much is beneath the water. It is invisible. So here the thing is, what is the relationship with this topology of mind? Here the thing is, conscious is equivalent to the tip of the iceberg. That means conscious is only small part. We know what we are, only a small part. We don't know much of us. Our behavior is quite visible. Only a part of it is visible. Our feelings, our thoughts. Only a small part is visible. And much part is beneath the water. It doesn't mean there is no ice. So it's the same thing. Unconscious part is higher. Unconscious part of the human being is more than the conscious part. Please understand, if you say that I know everything of my friend, you are wrong. I know everything of me, you are wrong, according to this Freud principle. Oh, I know everything of that person. No, only you know only small thing of that person. Much is not shown. That is not visible. That can be understood only through some other techniques. So this laid foundation for the development of projective techniques. You know the projective techniques, the assessment of personality. We use, since there are different types of tests, projective test and objective tests or non-projective tests. Two categories are there. Projective tests, it is not objective. Here the stimulus is ambiguous. It is not objective. The test like, I'm not going into the details of this test because we can do it later. I just briefly touch of it. The projective test like thematic apperception test, TAT, and Rorschach ink block test. Rorschach ink block test, thematic apperception test, that is TAT. They are treated as projective techniques. Projective techniques. And the basis for the development of this test, that is Rorschach test or this thematic apperception test, TAT. The origins is the iceberg concept. Because human behavior, we know only small part of human desires or human motivation is visible. And much part of human motivation is not visible or desires. So by applying these projective techniques, we can bring out the unconscious content out. It will come out through this tests, projective tests, like Rorschach in block test, thematic apperception tests. So we will discuss the nature of this test later. And another part of psychoanalytic theories or the theory of Freud's personality is psychosexual development. Psychosexual development of personality. So this personality development, the psychosexual development, there are 5 stages. 5 stages are there. Starting from oral stage, then anal stage, phallic stage, latency stage, and other one is genital stage. The stage, as I told you, stage 1, oral stage. This stage occurs in the first year of the child. First year of the child. This oral stage, that is first stage of the Freud's psychosexual development. It occurs in the first year of the child. That is called oral stage. And the second stage of Freud's psychosexual development of personalities, anal stage. It occurs in second year. This anal stage occurs in the second year of the child. And the third stage called phallic stage, this occurs during third and fifth year. Third and fifth year. The phallic stage, it occurs between third year and fifth year of the child.
What is the third one, sir? Sorry to.
Phallic stage, PHA,
Okay.
PHA, LLIC. Phallic stage, PHALLIC. Phallic stage. There is a third stage, which occurs, as I said, third and fifth year. And fourth one is latency stage. Latency stage. It occurs during 6th and 12th year of the child. 6th and 12th year of the child. That is latency. LATNCY, latency stage. And the last stage, that is the fifth stage, is a genital stage that occurs during the adolescent stage. These are the stages, and each stage has certain characteristics. Each stage has certain pleasure zone. Pleasure zone. That is called a pleasure zone. At each stage, pleasure zone is there. For example, oral stage. What is the pleasure zone?
They'll suck every object by putting in their mouth. Is that so?
Yes. Uh,
They'll feel any toy. If we give any toy below less than a year kid,
okay.
they'll they'll feel the
Right.
toy.
You're right. You're
Their
right.
mouth.
The pleasure zone in the first stage, that is called this oral stage, is mouth, the tongue, lips. These are the zones. While sucking, swallowing, they get pleasure. You see, when the breastfeeding is there, how the child behaves. You can observe the pleasure that the child is getting when the feeding is there. That is, zone here in the first stage is pleasure zone is mouth, tongue, lips, and everything. Before that, we have to understand the certain characteristics of the stages. This is a sequence. The child moves from first stage to fifth stage in a serial order, in a sequence. Child cannot go directly to the second stage or the third stage. Children have to move from the first stage to second and third like that, in serial order, that is in sequence. That is important that we have to understand. And each zone, as I said, pleasure zone is there that we have to examine. And other important thing that you have to understand and remember is at each zone, the conflict, there will be their desires have to be fulfilled. Motives have to be fulfilled. In case those desires are not fulfilled in a particular stage, the people will regress to that stage, even adults also. Even after becoming adults, if the desire was not fulfilled, and the desire is suppressed or repressed, there is a term called regression. Regression. They will go back to the first level. That is, technically, it is called fixation. Fixation. They fix at a particular zone where their desires are not fulfilled or fulfilled. There is two things you have to understand. Two things are there for the satisfaction of the desires. Over satisfaction of desires at that stage will lead to fixation, or under or lower satisfaction of needs, lower or under satisfaction, under gratification. Technical word is under gratification or over gratification. Both are negative. Under gratification or under satisfaction, over gratification or over satisfaction, both are negative in nature. If they occur, the people will regress. That means they will go back to that stage to satisfy their needs or desires. So that is called fixation. They'll fix that if that particular stage that can occur is in the first stage, or that can occur in the second stage, or that can occur in the third stage. It depends on how the desires are satisfied.
Sir, class
Okay.
is about to end in 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
Class is about to end in 2-3 minutes, sir.
Okay. So this oral stage, okay, three to four, right. In the first stage, for example, this I will take the first stage. Regression, fixation leads to okay, abnormal behavior. Yes, yes, you're right. Leads to abnormal behavior. There is a conflict, That is it leads to abnormal behavior. One interesting that I will tell here is in the first stage, biting is another one. The teeth. Teeth is the pleasure zone. The first stage. So the source of pleasure is also teeth. They bite everything they have get. If they are not satisfied, what would be the behavior of the people? Whatever that we will explain. Suppose the people are fixated at the first stage itself. They regress to the level, and the people engage in nail biting. Adults engaged in nail biting. Nail biting, they get some type of pleasure. And psychologically, that is a behavior. That the one is by we can observe the behavior. Other thing is, if the person is fixated at that level, what would be the experience of the people? What would be the personality of the people? This person may engage in certain symbolically in certain activities in symbolical terms. For example, ridicule. Those people ridicule others. They make sarcastic comments on others. And cynicism is there. Such person is called oral sadistic character. Oral sadistic character. And second stage, if they are fixated at that level, in the second stage, they get pleasure in the second stage through expulsion of feces, that is stool, FECS, FECES, feces or stool, expulsion or retention, constipation. Retention of feces or stool is constipation, or expulsion of stool or feces is that also gives the satisfaction. Pleasure comes from both, from possession of pieces, that is conservation. And fixation at stage results symbolically in stinginess, orderliness, perfectionism. They are called technically anal retentive character. That is, they will be stingy, they will be orderly, there will be